What happens when a lonely child facing dyslexia, severe asthma, bullying, and isolation discovers that imagination can become a pathway to resilience and purpose? I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBM, we are joined by a terrific author. His name is Hal M. Goldblatt, also known as Hamag, and he's here to discuss his amazing book. It is called My Delusional Life, Part 1, The Early Years. Blending humor, nostalgia, and personal reflection, Hal recounts growing up in Southern California during the 1950s, 60s, and early 70s while finding belonging through science fiction, photography, music, technology, travel, and creativity. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Hal, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a
Great.
pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. What made you decide to share your story with the world?
Well, actually, it started with my wife's book, and you've done an interview with her. Uh, when she was writing the book, she included me in our married life. We've been married almost 52 years now, and um, so in Sean's book, My Journey Through Life, um, she discusses me. But when I met Sean, truthfully, I was a mess. I just finished a long-term relationship. I discovered that all of our friends were really her friends, and I had none. So I had to make a whole new set of friendship. And I met Sean, and we became good friends. And she helped me sort things out and get my life back on track. So, but her book really goes from there and shows the better side of me, which thank God I am. Um, but what got me to that point? And that's when I said, so it took us almost 3 years to get her book published. She'd finished writing it. And in that time, I wrote mine. And the
Wonderful.
publisher loved the idea of a husband and wife team writing separate books, but really they're kind of together.
Yeah. Well, you each have your own stories. They intertwine, of course, but each
Mhm.
person is unique. Each person is an individual. And your story is truly unique. Why did you decide to entitle it My Delusional Life to describe your early years?
I love bad dad jokes, and all my kids say uh, in Yiddish, father is Tati. Tati, you're delusional. So that's it. It's kind of stuck over the years. We have 10
Exactly.
kids, and we're blessed with 29 grandkids.
Wow.
So family is everything, and I love entertaining the kids, telling them jokes, telling them stories, and just being whatever good, sharing whatever good I can with them.
Yeah.
So uh,
What a gift to have 10 children and then 29 grandchildren, and God knows how many great grandchildren you'll have as well. So that's wonderful. And that must be such a joy
yes,
just being around them, being near them, playing with them, talking with them. Your own
it is.
childhood you describe as being a little bit lonely. You were suffering from dyslexia and asthma. Talk to us about how those challenges shaped your worldview and your personality.
So I have an older brother who's 3.5 years older than me, and he was very active in sports and Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. But because of my asthma and because of it, prolonged illnesses, I could never participate. So my parents, rather than getting a babysitter, would take me along, and I always sat on the sidelines watching my brother do all these things that I couldn't do. And rather than feeling sorry for myself, I tried to use my imagination and picture myself in a spacecraft somewhere or visiting aliens or just whatever I could do to pass the loneliness, especially in the hospital in an oxygen tent when you're so isolated. As a child, I had I started having pause. when I was 2, I had double lobar pneumonia. My left lung had completely collapsed, and my right lung was on the verge of collapsing. I was in the hospital for several weeks. I was in oxygen tents. And then years, as the years went on, again, I would have to go back to the hospital and be in an oxygen tent, sometimes for 2 days.
Mm.
And you have to find some way to cure the boredom or you go crazy. And I didn't go, well, some kids would say I did go crazy, but
Yeah.
I like to say I went delusional.
Yeah. Well, it's a good type of delusional where you were creating in your garage imaginary spaceships and having a lot of fun, and you became a fan of science fiction as well. Talk to us a little
Yes.
bit about the stories and characters and ideas that captured your imagination most strongly.
So my favorite author is Robert A. Heinlein.
Hmm.
I love his books, and he writes adult books and children, not children's, teen books. And the teen books really, I could identify with all of his characters, where they went on different adventures, they went to different worlds, and I really just found myself putting myself in that place. As I was reading the book, I became that character and I lived the story. I wasn't just reading it. So that's what really inspired me to create my own worlds and my own fantasies.
Exactly. It literally transported you to another existence, which was fine with you because you weren't that happy with the real existence. So create an imaginary one instead. I think that's wonderful. You grew up in an area that is iconic, Southern
Yes.
California. And you also grew up in an age which was kind of a revolution from the
Oh yeah,
1950s to the 1960s. Talk to
very
us a
much
little
so.
bit about what growing up was like in the that turbulent era.
Well, our house was in the northern part of Long Beach, and we were sort of as the crow flies about 2 miles from Watts. And I remember in 1962 sitting on the roof and being able to see the fires and hear the gunshots of the Watts riots. And that had a deep effect on me. I mean, why are these people rioting? What are they going to gain from it? And um, my parents were brought us up very much to be open-minded, very accepting of all people, and I just I really couldn't understand why people would riot. But I tried to understand it, to grow with it. Actually, I have an interesting story that I can share. My We went on a family vacation and we were in Washington D.C. in 1965. I was 13 years old, and we got a tour of the Capitol, and we're in the gallery of the House of Representatives, and there's a whole bunch of commotion going on, and they're doing a roll call vote, and they wheel in this gentleman in a hospital bed to cast the final vote of the 1965 Civil Rights Act. I was there.
Amazing, amazing. Great to be witness to history like that on a
Yeah.
cross-country trip with your family. The cross-country trips with your family, the camping trips, Disneyland, they appear throughout your memoir. How
Mhm.
important are they when you look back on your life? What did those adventures teach you about the world and beyond?
Well, again, like science fiction, Walt Disney was able to capture your imagination.
Hmm.
My all-time favorite movie was Mary Poppins.
Hmm.
I always wanted her to come to my house and take away my illnesses and, allow me to participate with my family where I couldn't because of my illnesses. But obviously she never came, but I didn't blame her. I didn't blame Walt Disney. But he captured my imagination. The
Yeah.
first time I was at Disneyland, I was 3 years old. It was the Sunday after it opened. It opened on Friday, and my parents went there when I was 3 years old that Sunday. And I don't remember much of that, but we always went to Disneyland, and it just captured my imagination. The the it always has a happy ending. You know,
It's the happiest place on earth. That's what they
it
call it.
is. It
Yeah.
really is the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
So um, I've always loved Disney. My wife Sean has always loved Disney. We inspired our kids to love Disney. They're one of our sons is a big Warner Brothers fan, and there's
Mhm.
always competition between Warner Brothers and Disney. But
Right.
it's all in good fun.
Yeah,
Humor
absolutely.
is our best friend. If you can laugh at yourself, if you can laugh at
Oh, yeah.
whatever problems you have, it helps lighten the burden. And I've
Exactly.
tried to do that all my life.
Same here. I know my shortcomings and I have many of them, so I just laugh at myself before anyone else can. And
Yeah.
it makes life much, much more enjoyable, that's for sure. You became involved with computers long before people had even had the term computer on their radar. Tell us about that opportunity.
So in 1965, no, 65, um, the Long Beach Unified School District gave a math aptitude test to all the fifth graders. And I scored third highest in the entire city. So we were given a pilot program to um, a pilot program of the new math program. And we did so well. There was 10 of us, and we did so well with that program that they adopted it citywide. But as a reward for participating in this program, the summer between sixth grade and seventh grade, I got to participate. Long Beach City College had just gotten a UNIVAC computer.
Mm.
Now, for those that don't know it, a UNIVAC computer is as large as a house, as
Mm.
a two-bedroom house. And there was 10 students, we got to program this, but it was only in machine language, two-digit codes. Everybody else had to have the chart that uh, gave them this code did this code did that. I looked at it once and it was like second nature to me. I understood it.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with computers, and one thing led to another. And as people uh, learned about my past and uh, part pause, one of the um, one of the problems of the crash is I have a traumatic brain injury. So
Mm.
what they've taught me is I pause. So if I go like this, I pause, I think about what I want to say, and then I can formulate the words because there's a disconnect between my mind and my mouth.
Mm.
So let's go back. So what I was talking about was uh, on when people find out about my math background and my computer background, it has opened a lot of doors in accounting, in job opportunities, in the Sea Cadets. Um, they found out about it and said, "We're working on this problem and we're stuck. Would you be willing to volunteer?" And that's the magic word. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Amazing.
I had no
Amazing.
idea what I was getting into, but
Exactly.
they were programming in Fortran. Fortran is a
Computer
rather
language,
archaic
right?
language,
Yeah.
but it made sense to me. I self-taught myself Fortran.
Amazing. And I
I
remember
read one
people in
book
that
and I was
era were really
yeah,
struggling with that. The concept of Fortran was like, you might as well be speaking ancient Greece or some Greek or
yes.
something. So you definitely had a gift for that. You've got many gifts, photography among them, music as well. We're almost out of time, but this is called part one because the line of delineation for you between part one and part two of your life involves a crash. And I was wondering if you just share with the folks at home a little bit about what happened.
On November 25th, 2022, I was walking home from our synagogue where I was the security guard, and I got to uh, uh, a crosswalk that Sean and I helped the city, inspired the city to install. I looked both ways, no cars were coming, and I started to cross. That's my last memory. I People were close by and saw it. They filled in the pieces. I got 3/4 of the way through. A car came out of Walmart and hit me.
Oh,
I spent 10 days in a coma in the hospital, and thank God he saved me. I'm struggling every day, but the crash changed my life. So part one is everything before November 25th, and part two, if I ever get to it, will be after November 25th.
well,
But
when you're done writing part two, we're looking forward to talking to you about that. It's amazing. I've been in crosswalks just recently looking at drivers who are making a turn and they're looking for traffic and they're going to make a right-hand turn into the crosswalk. And I'll literally be like this, trying to get their attention, like, hey, I'm here. People
and they
don't
don't
look
pay
for
attention.
pedestrians anymore. They only look for
Yeah.
cars. And
Yes.
it's a real danger. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you're thriving despite, obviously some challenges. And when your book is ready for part two, we would love to have you back on. Book one is wonderful. It's a slice of
Thank you.
Americana. It's a great slice of life. It's a great observation on a turbulent era, the 50s, the 60s, and into the 70s and beyond. There's the book right there. I recognize that handsome young man on the cover. The name of the book is My Delusional Life, Part One, The Early Years. Through stories of childhood illness, imagination, technology, music, photography, friendship, and cultural change, Hal reminds readers that creativity and perseverance can transform loneliness and adversity into a meaningful life. Hal, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for sharing my story.
I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story with me and with our audience. It's a fascinating story of a life well lived. And like I said, we're looking forward to part two. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.